大家好，我们是
L
S.
It's okay. It's okay. We just ending too.
How is everyone?
Well, pretty well, but still working from home right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about in your country? Are you still working from home right now?
Yeah, most people are still working from home, but some people have gone back to work. But it's mostly the people who can work from home are working from home.
Are you planning to going back to Europe?
No, I was always working from here.
Oh.
So going was just to visit, but not to actually go to the office. It was more like to visit.
So what decides to people who can go back to the work, not working from home? Is that depending on their career or?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's depending on their career.
So you can work remotely in GWNET.
Sorry?
So it's possible to work remotely in GWNET.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So when you entering in GWNET and you can choose in your whole career you can work remotely or just because of the COVID?
Your whole career, because I've always worked remotely even before COVID.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's more like you go.
No, I was just saying it's pretty cool to be able to work remotely.
Yeah,
so it's like the criteria is like every engineers which is woman and they can join GWNET, kind of like this.
Yeah, anyone who's involved in energy and who's a woman. So it doesn't matter whatever type of profession you are. So you can be a lawyer or a banker or an engineer. As long as you're working in the sector, you're invited to be part of GWNET.
Oh. And I think this is a personal question, but I'm wondering why makes you want to enter in GWNET? I just curious about it.
It's a good question. It was the place I was working before. It was a 5-year project. So the project came to an end after 5 years. And to ensure that the work that was done didn't get lost, GWNET decided to put that work on their website and just continue some of the projects that were being done. And so that's how I was introduced to GWNET and to Christine, and then I joined GWNET afterwards.
Oh. So actually you're always in the same type of career, not like a big gap between them, right?
Yeah, I was in the same type of career before.
Oh, so it's like GWNET find your projects and they think it's really cool and they wanted to continue.
Exactly.
Oh, and it's a project from Kenya?
Yeah, it wasn't like my specific project. It was a project where I was working, and it was based in Kenya. So that time I was going to the office. And then I discovered you can work remotely.
Yeah, this one is better.
Exactly.
I think I save a lot of time, maybe taking the bus or it just reduce the time to go into the office.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of money as well.
Oh, the money is more than before?
No, you save money because you don't have to pay for the bus.
Oh, yeah. Oh. That's right.
What about in your former project? Did you experience kind of like the unequality between men and women, or why did GWNET found you guys?
It was the same type of work that GWNET is doing. So it was still focused on supporting women in energy. So the work was similar to what GWNET is. is doing. That's why GWNET was interested. Yeah.
Oh, so it sounds like they find you because you are like good in this area, so they just found your project, right?
Exactly.
Oh, so it's like supporting girls in Kenya for their energy working?
It was in both Africa and Asia. But mostly in East Africa. It was to support like entrepreneurs who are doing like solar lamps and clean cook stoves, to support them in different ways. So it was kind of similar. It was kind of similar values. The work is different with GWNET, but the values are the same.
Oh, that's nice. It's like a cross-country and cross-continent cooperation.
Exactly, yes.
Cool. So I have a question. Do you have any suggestions for young women who want to like join this career when in the future?
I guess from my perspective is to network as much as you can.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are in the sector, or just in general, whatever you decide to work, a lot of people are very open and willing to give you support if you ask. I found like all the places I've worked because all the places I've worked, I've gotten there because I networked. So it wasn't just like applying and hoping to be picked, but it was going to like, if there are energy webinars or energy events, when it's safe to go to a physical event, like go to those and like ask questions so that people can notice you. Because it's often easy to get looked over just because everyone is talking. So it's good to ask, like, to do your research, maybe think of a really good question and prepare before the webinar, and make sure you ask your question. Just like try and get yourself noticed. So when people are thinking of students in Taiwan who are doing energy, they think immediately, oh yeah, I met this young lady. It's also just like, if you see women, even men, with like a job which you think is really interesting, just send them a message on LinkedIn or an email if you have access to their email, and ask them. Don't be like too broad with your question. Be really specific with what you want to get from them, because then they're like, you're serious. Like when you guys emailed, you had like a concept note etc, so I knew what you wanted. So be very specific. Say like, this is who I am. I'm interested in maybe the type of educational background for this specific job, any guidance for this specific job. Like try to be really specific. I've done this before and I sent many emails and I only got one response back. But from like the person who responded, that one person who responded really gave me a lot of information, which then in the future opened many doors for me. So like, don't get discouraged if people are not answering emails. Try and follow up. Even if they don't answer emails, it's fine. There'll be one person who answers. And then that one person can be very helpful. So don't get like too disappointed. It happens to everyone. I'm sure if I send emails now, I'd still not get replies from everyone. So reach out to people who you think you're interested, and be very specific with what you want from them, and then network as much as you want, as much as you can. Go to the events where they're speaking, learn from them, ask them questions, and hopefully that will get you noticed as well.
Yeah, it sounds like as long as you're being well prepared, so you don't have to worry about like if you are doing right or wrong, because you're well prepared for what you want to do.
Exactly. And it's not bad to be wrong. That's how we all learn. So I've been wrong many times before, but if you're wrong but you're willing to like learn, it's fine, because no one is perfect. I'm sure even like the most experienced people make mistakes. So at least the one thing I've never been scared of is asking what you say is a stupid question. Because sometimes you don't feel like asking a question because you think it's so obvious and it's only me who doesn't understand. Everyone understands
I feel like
what's going on.
Yeah,
Exactly. But I still ask because the point is for me to understand, yes. And sometimes you might find everyone else also didn't understand, but no one was like courageous enough to ask the question. But yeah, always ask questions, because if you're taking the time to go to a webinar or talk to someone, you should go out, you should leave with like understanding what the discussion was. You shouldn't leave not understanding and you haven't asked them to explain it better. So yeah, ask questions, and yeah, don't be afraid to ask a question because you think it's too obvious.
Yeah, because sometimes like I will afraid of like if I ask the stupid question and they will think she didn't prepare at all, or I just afraid of like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Anyone who thinks like that, who thinks like, no, this person has asked a stupid question, is probably not the right person for you. So if you have like, if you ask a question and someone is like, oh, that's not a good question, that was probably not the right person for you. The right person for you to like give you advice and to mentor you is someone who has enough patience and humility to explain and support you.
Yeah, like supports me to making a progress.
Exactly.
So I have heard like people who want to enter in this career should have like problem solving skills and need a lot of innovation. Is that right?
It depends on what you want to do. What do you want to do in the energy sector?
Yeah, I think the whole energy sector, because I think it's more depends on like more idea and more mind control. Yeah.
It's like more math and more science and more coding stuff.
Definitely. There's a lot of technical stuff, but the sector is really broad. So you have people whose job is energy law. So their focus is on law, but then some people whose job is on financing all of these infrastructure projects. So their background is in accounting. And you have people who work in communications. So their background might be in content or in journalism. And then you have designers, you have people who build websites, you have engineers, you have people who do community work. So if you're like if you didn't study something that was technical in school, you still have many opportunities to contribute to the energy sector. You don't have to have the technical background. There are definitely many opportunities for people with technical backgrounds when it comes to engineering and data and innovating on the technologies. But that is just one part of it, because after the technologies have been innovated, someone needs to finance them, someone needs to create policy, someone needs to engage with the communities, someone needs to do marketing. So if technical stuff is not your thing, there's still a lot you can do. If technical stuff is your thing, there are so many opportunities for you as well. So it's not just one thing.
As long as we want to devote ourselves into it, I think there's always occupations for us.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask, like, is there many young girls that wanted to enter the energy, the technical part in Africa?
I
Is it
do
getting
think
more?
I think now it's more and more. So it all has to do around changing society's beliefs around it. So many people around the world believe like technical subjects are for boys and humanities subjects are for girls, and it's not true. So this is a belief that like maybe prevents kids from choosing something that is not for them. If their parents discourage them and the teachers discourage them, you might find fewer girls entering into more technical subjects, but like more and more you're seeing women as solar technicians, you're seeing women in the lab, you're seeing women as engineers. I know very many women in these roles, and you're seeing the women who are existing are also, when they have the opportunity to do, are inspiring younger women. So it's the thing for, if you see a woman engineer, then you know you can be a woman engineer. It's harder to think of yourself as a woman engineer when you've never seen a woman engineer. You've only seen men engineers. So I do think it's changing. There are more women and men who are working to create programs for kids, for both boys and girls, for technical subjects, who are promoting the energy sector in universities to both boys and girls, who are creating programs, training programs specifically for women to encourage more women to enter the sector. So I do think, at least in Kenya, which is where I live, I've seen a lot of activities and programs that are meant to support women to enter the sector and to enter into the technical roles.
Oh, that's really nice. So the stereotype in Kenya is not that obvious anymore, right?
I think it's still there. Like, I think it takes a long time to change a belief which has been there for decades. It takes a while. But then
it's making a progress in it, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of progress.
Oh, awesome.
I think it's the same in our country, because I think maybe in our elders, they will be like my mom, they will be told like you have to be act like a girl, and maybe you have
become a nurse, become a teacher.
Exactly.
Something.
Yeah. And boys should be like, should be brave, and you can like crying or and good at math or technology, something like that. Yeah.
That is exactly what it is.
Yeah, but in Taiwan, the equality, it's more, the stereotypes is breaking, I think. Yeah. Like for our generation, I think this is a pretty old stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Now we have a concept like, oh, that's what elders think about, not we. We don't accept that.
Is it similar in Kenya too? So like the new generation knows that it's a old stereotypes, and they are more willing to go to where they wanted to go.
Yeah, I do see the stereotype is less with younger generations, but it's still there for many. So Kenya has like a lot of policies on gender in the workplace.
Oh, so nice.
You must have at least 1/3 of representation of women in any government role. So like in parliament, you have to have at least 1/3 of women. In boardrooms, you have to have at least 1/3 of women. So it's not rare. It's very common to put on the TV, and the cabinet minister is a woman, or the head of like Kengen, which is the biggest energy producing organization, is a woman. It's not rare to see this. But even when you have women in these positions, that doesn't mean that people don't still have stereotypes. So it's something that we need to be careful of, that even as we have 50% of, we reach equality and we have 50% of women and 50% of men, there's still going to be stereotypes which which affect women from entering specific jobs, which affect men from entering specific jobs, because stereotypes also affect them in different ways. So even as I see like a lot of women everywhere in every like organization, there's representation of women, I have to remember that there's still a lot of bias and beliefs that we still need to address. And I think that's going to take much longer time. But I'm optimistic that eventually everyone can see that your gender does not define if you're good at something, or if you should do something, or if you shouldn't do something, because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but it's nice to see the progress, I think. So the new generation are more willing to do what they want, do on their personalities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. So the next question I would like to ask is, do you think there are any priority skills or knowledge for girls when they are still at school? For example, like in Taiwan, there are camp only for like senior high school girls.
Yeah. That's a good question. I think it just depends on if there is like a gap. So for example, in technical subjects, I know pretty much everywhere in the world, except maybe India, which has a really good percentage of women who are in technical subjects in university. But for most places around the world, if there's a gap, that's where the priority should be. So if there's a gap in women who are joining the workforce, or women who are joining university to study maths or engineering or any technical subjects, then that's a place to put a priority to have more women involved. If there is a gap, if there's any type of gap, that's where the priority should be, especially when that area could use from more perspective. So it's not just adding women for the sake of adding women, it's understanding that having more ideas and more perspectives is going to be beneficial for everyone. And when you're looking at priority areas, it's also trying to understand where the barriers are.
Yeah.
So it's not just providing opportunities, it's also removing barriers. Because you can only hold camps for so long. What we're trying to move towards is having a school system where everyone can learn equally and have equal opportunities, so they actually don't need extra training or extra attention, but it's open to everyone. So regardless of your gender, or regardless of your family's income, or regardless of your ethnicity, where you're living in the world, we should have structures where it's equal for everyone. So that's what we're trying to move towards. And to move towards that, we need to remove as many barriers as we can.
Yeah, because we want to solve the problems like in Taiwan's workplace, and women is harder than men, like if they want to get higher position in their career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, can I have a follow-up question? Though you are focusing on more women's rights, but do you think that there is also bias for boys? Like maybe we should also open some workshop for boys only also? I don't know, like everyone's saying the woman's right, but
yeah, whenever you talk about bias or stereotype, it affects both. It affects all genders, but it affects women more. So our goal is to remove all barriers to bias. So when I was talking about like removing barriers, is changing structures. And when you change structures, it makes it open to everyone. It makes it fair for everyone. So eventually what we're going towards is to have structures that support women, that support men, that support everyone. So when you're removing bias, if you're removing a bias as a barrier, you're removing a bias that says women can't study technical subjects. At the same time, you're removing the bias that says men can't study more humanities. So it's removing biases. Our focus is definitely on women because in the energy transition, the imbalance is on the woman's side. But how we're doing it is changing the structures so that everyone can benefit. Women, men, regardless of your gender, you can benefit.
It sounds like if we create like a equal cost structure in the maybe in a career or like workplace, so there will be no more problems like stereotype in the workplace or like in generations.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's not
that would be ideal.
Yeah. So
It's
it's not like helping the woman. It's like making everyone in the same position.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
So I have
yeah.
Keep going. It's okay.
Yeah. It's a good question. So there's 3 things you need to keep in mind. One is equality.
Yeah.
People usually confuse the terms equality, equity, and justice, and they can be very confusing because sometimes they're used in place of each other. But I saw a really good comic which was helping me understand, helping me understand the problem a bit better. So in the comic, you have 3 people. So one person is a child, one person is of average height, and one person is really tall. And there's a fence, and on the other side of the fence, there's a game. Like let's say there's a football game. So the really tall person can see over the fence into the game. The person of average height and the child, they can't see anything because they're blocked by a fence. So equality is giving everyone a stool so that they can see over the fence. But then equality is just one part. Equity, which is different, is recognizing that the tall person doesn't really need a stool. They can see over the fence. The child needs the really tall stool so they can see better. And the person of medium height actually only needs like an average size stool to see over the fence. So that's equity. It's giving everyone what they need to succeed, as opposed to giving everyone the exact same thing. And then justice is recognizing that there shouldn't be a fence in the first place. So justice is removing the fence so everyone can see the football game. So when you ask the question is what we're working towards, we're at equality, but what we're working towards is justice. So justice is removing the structures, removing the fences so that everyone has same access to the opportunities and can benefit from the opportunities without any type of barrier. So yeah, when you're asking, should we also address men's stereotypes as we're addressing the stereotypes against women? The answer is we're working towards justice so that there's no stereotype for anyone, regardless of who you are.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe using these people's advantage now to help others person who is in disadvantage.
Yeah.
So they will make like the supportive society to each other.
Exactly, where no one is disadvantaged.
Yeah, I think that's the ideal society we want in the future.
The example is really good and easy to understand. I think I have seen that picture before also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about what do you think is the biggest like disadvantage for the youth girl?
I think
like
it's
right now.
people's perceptions, people's bias.
So it's also bias.
I do think it's bias, because bias makes people go out of their way to stop someone from progressing. So it's bias that will, from a young age, be the influence of a parent or a teacher telling a girl she can't do this or she has to act like this. It's bias that will prevent a university recruiter from looking closely at a girl's application. It's bias that when she applies for a job, someone might dismiss her as not qualified. So bias, people's beliefs, are always the biggest issue. But I also see policy as being an issue as well. If you have government regulations that say you must have these equal opportunities for girls, or when women enter the workforce, you must have sexual harassment policies that prevent them from getting harassed in the workforce. Or if you have parental leave, that means that women who have children can take care of their children and come back to work. These are policies that support women to remain in the workforce. Because
sorry for the
otherwise,
disruption. I noticed that we only have 1 minute right now, so I'm afraid we'll just disappear in 1 minute. the Zoom has time limit.
Do you mind like we have a longer chat in the next
Next
Zoom?
link, we'll open a new link.
Yeah, is it okay for you? Okay, awesome.
Is it just open the same link? Are we
No.
opening this link again?
We'll email it to you, like
Yeah,
right
we'll
away,
email the
right
new
now.
one.
Yeah, sorry
Okay.
for the interruption.
It's no problem. Key value, if you really believe that, it motivates you. Also having support networks, because it's often very difficult to work on these big issues, and it's very, people reach a point where they burn out or they feel like they can't do it anymore. So it's important to have like support networks to help you through these times, and to partner with other people who also share the same beliefs. That is a really good way to keep you going.
Yeah, so the firm belief will like make you more sustainable in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Yeah.
it's like key belief that constants you, and the supporting network and working with others that make you more longer and walk longer.
Sorry?
So is it like the key belief that make you like the motivation, but the supporting network and working with others that make you keep on going on these issues?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, so nice. Yeah, cause we're wanted to focus on youth issues, but we saw that there's also many people focusing on this. So we're just like trying to know, is there anything that we can do better, and how can we constantly
Yeah,
be doing?
we just think about maybe we can hold a workshop for women. That's what we think about right now. But if you have any advice for us, we will feel better in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think seeing so many people already doing it, like there's still so much to be done. So don't be discouraged by seeing so many people doing it. Sometimes what you're bringing that's new is just your perspective, because we're all different. We've all lived different lives. So sometimes what is new is just your perspective, your ideas, your experiences. So and you're also youth. So it's also just understanding what is my biggest problem right now. Who is addressing it? Are they addressing it well enough? Can I address it better? And where you can, just have as much discussion as possible.
Oh.
Get
And maybe
contributions
meet
from
other generations people.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can have like more ideas, more opinions, so they can make us maybe more perfect in this area.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's also like, though many people are working on this, but this issue can be done more, so we can still keep on doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I think about it.
Oh, that's a really nice perspective.
Yeah, and we really want
So-
to do something in this area.
Yeah. I
You should definitely do it.
Yeah, but we need to like collect more advice from people who is professional in this like you. So
Yeah,
we
so
will-
thank you for
yeah.
having us again. Okay. So that's all of my questions.
Yeah, I think we have asked all the questions we prepared, and I want to ask like, is there any question you want to ask us? Yeah.
Maybe just interested in where you see all of this, like maybe what you think some of the biggest issues are, like you guys want to tackle, because you said you were interested in doing something for youth. So what
Yeah.
is it that, like, what are some of the ideas you have right now?
So
yeah.
for now we want to like solve the, of course we are youth right now, so we want to solve the problems what youth will meet, and now we want to solve like what they will meet, the problem they made when they enter in the career. But after we have so many search, we realized that they have a lot of
I
we
think
realized that there is more things we have to.
yeah. So
Yeah.
at first we focused more on low salary in the first year, and later on the research we found that there's more topics, and we are changing into, we want to create a platform where we can put many resources on it, and the youth can go up there and seek for what they wanted to use. But afterward we found that it's not a really sustainable way of operating, so that should become a minor subject. So we hope to focus more on maybe on the mental health leadership or media literacy of the youth. But that's just what we have done since now, and we are still thinking of how to focusing more on what we are going to focus on. Is
Yeah.
that clear?
Yeah, it's always a lot of work, and it's always like challenging to settle on one thing, because there's just so many opportunities available. But yeah, I understand, like understand the different areas you're interested in, and they all sound like very valuable.
Thank
Continue
you.
to pursue them.
Yeah, but we have to make sure like if we do this area, we have to make the impact, but we're still like questioning if we're good at this area.
Yeah, like we're not an expert, and how can we be more focusing on something or become more unique?
Yeah, you can only be an expert from doing something for so long, and I don't think most people were experts when they started. I think if you believe this is like valuable that you can provide people with, and if you're motivated to do it, I think you should do it. Don't worry about expertise. You just learn by doing, honestly.
Yeah.
You just learn by doing.
Thank you.
That's heartwarming to us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if we got question like in maybe woman in equality questions, can we ask you or like email questions to you for the
Yeah, feel free
Yeah.
to email if you have any more questions.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're
So,
welcome.
Yeah.
are we gonna take a picture? Is it convenient for you to take a picture with us?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I hope we still have time. You say you have only 10 minutes.
Yeah. And maybe in the future we would like to also hold a workshop for young ladies, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Keep me updated about the different progress.
Yeah,
We can see the places
Yeah,
where
and
we
we
can
can also see the difference between your place and our place.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
I'll
think
look forward to it.
Xavier is going to give us a picture.
Okay. Look at the screen. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take
Thank you
care.
for having us. Taking care.
Yeah,
Most welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.